Hello everybody, I'm Donna and today I'm going to show you how to make these crystal point pendants. I have a whole bunch of these that I need to wrap, so I'm just going to show you a really quick way to do it. And these pendants and this style of wrap, it works well when you have stones with perfectly straight sides. You just have to make sure you wrap the wire around it really tight. But it works even better when you have just these slight imperfections, these little bumps and stuff, because it gives it something for the wire to grip onto. Now these stones are all about 1.5 to 2 inches long. I think I'm gonna go with, I think this one's about 1.5. So I'll wrap this one today. Now you're gonna start with 14 gauge wire, and I've got about 20 inches for this one. The first thing I need is any round object that's about 2 inches in diameter. So we're gonna try to keep it centered and just make a big loop. Just try to keep it in the middle of the wire. And make sure you go all the way around so it kind of like goes back on, like if you were doing a coil. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle at this point, because we'll be reshaping it a little bit later. Alright, so you take your crystal point, whichever side you want going onto the top, just put that in between the wires pointing towards the other end of the circle. I'm going to put that a little, I'd say about 1/2 inch away from the top. Now we're going to actually twist the circle around it first. So you have to wrap the wire up one end and down the other. Okay, we can do another wrap if we want to later, but let's just get this secure here first. Just keep wrapping it all the way around. You can hold both wires together here and wrap them up both at the same time, but you won't have as much control over it, and you see it kind of wants to overlap that way. So I prefer to just do it one at a time. And just keep going and as far as you want, or until it just feels secure. So I want to make sure that stone isn't going anywhere. I'm going to do one more twist up here. Okay, so this circle is going to be a little bit smaller than the other ones I did, but that's okay. That's one of the fun things about this. Everyone looks a little bit different from the other. They're all unique. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the flat nose pliers. First we need to kind of push it down so it's wrapped a little closer to the side, and then kind of bend it outwards a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And don't worry, we can reshape this part however we need to once we're done getting it secure here. Of course, if you wanted a larger circle around this part, you could also start with a larger object. When you did the initial loop at the beginning, just start with something bigger, and that'll work out fine. Make sure everything's tight in there. Now just reshape this however you need to. This one's being a little bit stubborn here. Let's see if these will work better. Okay, that looks about right to me. Now back to the bottom wires here. Well, it's secure, and I don't think I want to go any further than that. So I'm going to have to just lift it up a little bit here. Just enough so I can get the cutters in there. And I'm going to go ahead and cut both of those wires. And now we need to file them. You can use a cup burr if you prefer, but I'm just going to use a coarse needle file to get it started. You don't need to take off a whole lot of metal here. You just need to get it smoother so it doesn't grab on your clothes or anything. Okay, that should do. Now we just want to bend it inward a little bit. And now press it up against the stone. Okay, now that part's done. I'm going to go ahead and hammer this loop here. You don't have to do that if you don't want to though, but I want to give it a little bit of texture. So first I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. If you do decide to hammer it, make sure the stone is off to the side of the bench block so you don't accidentally hit it. First I'm just going to hammer it flat a little bit. Right, now I'm going to take this side. This is a goldsmith hammer with a cross peen. If you wanted to do, where is it? This one. If you want a texture more like this one, you use a ball peen hammer for that. But I want something that looks more like this. So I'm going to use the cross peen. Okay, so now you have a nice texture. Just kind of gives it a little bit more visual interest. Now there are two ways to finish this off. The first way would be just take your cord and do a quick little knot. But I prefer doing one of these coiled bails. So for that we're going to use 16 gauge wire. I'm going to work directly off of the spool, but you can use, it will take about 5 inches probably if you wanted to cut it first. Now I'm using bail making pliers. I think this is about 6 or 7 millimeters on this part. So if you don't have these, you can use any round object that's about 6 or 7 millimeters and it'll be fine. And for mine, I just want 4 full wraps all the way around it. So there's my 4 wraps. Just going to go ahead and cut that. And now I'll cut the other side to match. Now for this, instead of a file, I'm going to use a cup burr. Now if you're using a cup burr, just don't forget to lubricate your burr. And that'll keep it lasting longer and make it work better. So now we just need to open this up a little bit so we can slip it onto the pendant. And now you're basically just putting it on like a key ring. And go ahead and squeeze it all shut. If you have to, you can use your flat nose pliers to kind of angle that in there a little bit better, and then close it again. Just try not to crush it like I just did. Okay, that looks all right. Oh, a little bit. There it goes. And just put your cord through there. And you have a very easy to make crystal pendant. Okay, I'm back everyone. I thought I was done recording, but then I decided I wanted to see how this would look oxidized. So I went ahead, I used liver of sulfur to oxidize it, and now I'm going to polish it up. For that I'm going to start with a 600 grit radial bristle disc. Just to remove the oxidation first, and then I'll switch to 1000 grit and see what it looks like.